So hey guys, so today marks my 3-year anniversary of this entire enlargement scene from the time I initially got started to basically where I am now, and that's what this video is going to be about. I'm literally going to break down every single thing that I went through from my start to finish, my injuries, my ups, my downs, my pitfalls, what I could have done differently. All of that is going to be done today in addition to two important things. Number one is a QA from the subreddit, and number two is actually giveaway information. I'm so thrilled with basically this whole process that I'm giving away some free supplements, guys, so stay tuned. We're going to get right into it today. All right, guys, and so it is my 3-year anniversary. So that means basically 3 years ago today, I actually started my enlargement journey. And since then, I have made about 1.4 inches in length and about 0.8 inches in girth. And before you probably roll your eyes or click off, if you actually click on my little thing, I don't know which one it is, but my actual username, I actually have pretty well documented before and afters using rulers with measurements that I think pretty clearly, I won't say better than anybody, but at least is up there towards the top, demonstrates that girth. So if you are doubting my gains, which a lot of these PE YouTubers like Basim, for example, or these other guys, they don't have proof, and I do. So anyways, let's just leave that where it is. This video is not going to be about throwing shade because we're celebrating today, guys. And so I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember, but there was when the Celtics won their championship, there's a video of Kevin Garnett. I'll try to find a little clip here, but he's like, anything is possible, and he's like basically crying because he is just so thrilled. And that's basically where I am. I'm not gonna cap, as the kids say. I still can't believe it. I just can't believe it. When I first started my journey, I was like, if I could get a quarter of an inch, bro, just a quarter of an inch, I would be absolutely jacked out of my mind. And here I am, basically, at almost 1.5 inches bigger. And so let's get into it. So to start, there's a caveat. So yeah, I have been doing this over 3 years, but of that, it's roughly 27 months of actual active PE. And I'll get into why in a little bit, but basically some of that is life, some of that is injuries. And even towards these past 3 months, I've been so focused on fitness that it's been 15 minutes a day, maybe, of any kind of enlargement exercises. So just keep that in mind. So how did this start for me? Well, like many guys, I'm a huge fan of Derek More Plates, More Dates, and I was basically watching his video, and it came up about, he was reviewing Conor Murphy, and he was like, actually, this stuff does work. Conor Murphy's not crazy, and I used a Bathmate and a Follosan Forte, and I made huge gains, and it's legit. And my mind basically, hopefully my editor can put in some graphics of just my head exploding, basically, because it blew my mind. I didn't think this stuff was possible. I thought it was all bogus, and I'd always be stuck having a smaller PP, but it's not. And so basically he convinced me with that one video. So within about a week, I researched, figured out I didn't want to use Follosan Forte. Manuals were the way that I was going to go, and I ordered a Bathmate. And I ordered an OG, and I'll put up a picture of it here, Bathmate, and kind of regret that just because I don't use it. It was expensive. I wasted my money. And then I actually went back and ordered the Hydromax Extreme, which was very expensive. Guys, this video is not sponsored by Bathmate, and let me just stop right here and say I do not think Bathmate is a good product, especially the baseline model. The more expensive model is much better. It's good, but it's just exponentially overpriced. So before you hop online and try to order a Bathmate, just hold your horses there, okay? There's much cheaper options. Anyways, so I ordered that started in July. In October, I developed actual lymphangiosclerosis. Didn't know what it was, and nobody else had posted about it, and so I had to basically figure that out for myself. And now I've made other posts and even a video about lymphatic issues, but that scared the absolute crap out of me. And so I took a 2-month break at that time until things resolved. Continued my journey. Then July, I had to take a 1-month break because the lymphangiosclerosis came back. Then takes us to October of 2021. I actually had to take a 3-month break because I listened to people that told me I should start clamping, and so I tried clamping and I developed hard flaccid and soft gland syndrome. And so I took an entire full 3-month break after that, actually 4-month break off for that. So then continued basically as normal. Then I went to all the way until basically April of last year, April of 2022. Some important life changes happened for me, and I took a 4-month break off from that, restarted in October. And then starting in October, I actually wanted to get serious in the gym again, and I actually rejoined my gym membership. And so I started lifting. That left me about 15 minutes per day of actual PE, and it was normally involving pumping, okay? Then, so that took me from October up until about April. Finally, April, I was decided that I was tired of like all this excessive fat on my body, and I just wanted to double down and focus all of my energy on the gym. And so I started doing the gym full time from April up until about June. Ended up, I've lost about 30 pounds during this process. I was never really a big guy to start with. And then basically I got my weight down to where I wanted to be, started getting lean, abs came back. And so then I started with 15 minutes of pumping basically on a daily basis. If I was lucky, maybe 10 minutes of stretching in there somewhere along the way, just manual stretching. And so if you can like basically calculate all of those breaks, it equals about 27 active months of PE. So there's some people that might be like, oh, Hank, you've been doing PE for 3 years and you only have 1.5 inches. Like, and if that's you, then like, whatever, okay? It is what it is. But you know, that's me. I'm thrilled with those results. Hopefully you can do it faster. And so what are some of like the real life changes? Well, I mean, it's kind of basic stuff, just like the way it feels in my hand, just like even just when I like urinate or if I were to like masturbate or something. Before I would have to use like almost like a pincer grip when I was like masturbating because my penis was more narrow, and now it's like much thicker, much girthier, and I actually have to like, you know, basically adjust my grip on it. And so it's kind of crazy to me that something even as fundamental as that has changed. Also, the confidence thing is real. Like BDE is real, guys. Like that big D energy, like it is real. I'm just so much more confident now, and I feel like it sounds so cliche to say, but like comfortable in my own skin because I mean, obviously I finally have, well, I had an arguably big peepee to start with, and now it's like really big, okay? And so, you know, a lot of guys, I hate talking about numbers because guys get so caught up on numbers. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, like I put on 1.4 inches in length and 0.8 inches of girth. Like, what does it matter if I started at 2 inches or if I started at 12 inches? I don't care, but I'm sure somebody's going to ask because people care so gosh darn much. But I am currently right at about 8.4 inches by 6 inches, okay? There. Okay, so get off my back about it. There, you know my numbers now, guys. Life can continue. So guys, one of the first indications that I was growing is actually, I live in a very secluded area, okay? And so I was outside peeing and my significant other looked over and she said, wow, that's huge. That was the first time she's ever honestly commented on my size, like whatsoever in any fashion or form. So that was like a huge confidence booster, like, wow, this is working. And then I started really using finasteride for hair loss at the same time I started doing PE. And it was funny because my significant other would swear up and down. She was like, dude, I think that finasteride is making your D bigger. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? She was like, no, I'm serious. Like something is going on. This is way bigger. And so I do feel kind of bad because, you know, call me a coward. That's fine. But like, this is a private thing that I wanted to do to better myself. And it, in my opinion, has nothing to do with her. I mean, yeah, it does if she's the recipient, but like, anyways, guys. So I didn't want to tell her about it, and so I kind of kept it to myself. But she was like swearing up and down until one day she actually found my pump, and I explained to her that it was for actually erection issues, erection quality, because there is published data for this rather than actually getting bigger. And so it hasn't really come up since. But still, even now, like I'd say at least probably once a month, she'll like throw out like a sneaky comment like, it's definitely bigger, and then just kind of like walk away. I mean, it's not even like a discussion. She's just like, it's way bigger. But yeah, so that's pretty interesting that she was able to me, like, I think it's, I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, but the guys that tell their girls they're doing PE, and then they're like, I told my girls doing PE, and then a week later she said it was bigger. Like, you know, how do you know she's not just like placating you? But, you know, that's, you know, cynical hink there, I guess, okay? But anyways, regardless, she noticed without me saying anything, so I knew it was working then from like about 6 weeks in. So when it comes to my sex life, like, you know, I don't like talking about that. But anyways, I did make a whole video about like how my sex life has changed. If you're interested, please check it out. I'll link it in the description below. But it has gotten better in general, but it's largely because of like my confidence. I will say that for those that don't know, like a superficial, like clitoral orgasm is a lot different than like a deep, like A spot, P spot, even cervical orgasm. Like it's a lot different. I have scratches on my back now that I didn't used to have. Some of those climaxes do feel they feel a lot more intense, but I wouldn't say like the actual rate of me achieving them is any higher because your boy is good. But for real, I mean, I always try to listen to her body, listen to what she wants. And so anyways, so in general, better. If you want details, check out that video so I don't have to take too much time doing that in this video. So what is my routine? Guys, my routine has always been manual stretches. I made an entire video on it, guys. If you want to learn what I did, just watch the video. And pumping. I also made 2 different videos on that, part 1 and part 2. If you want to know what I did, just check out those videos. But that's what it's always been. In general, it's been like in a perfect world when I was going hard in the paint with this stuff, I would do manual stretches, like basically as per the video, for a total time of like 30 minutes. And if I was lucky, maybe an additional 15 minutes at night. And then as far as pumping, I was basically doing 3 to 4 sets of maybe 5 to 7 minutes max a day. And I was doing that basically 6 to 7 days a week. That's my routine. It didn't take much time. Here recently, my routine is maybe pumping for 15 minutes if I can. It's actually usually been at night now because I go to the gym so early in the morning. And then if I can, maybe manual stretches, maybe 5 to 10 minutes every other day, something like that. You don't have to like be strapped into devices, in my opinion, for hours and hours, for years and years to get good gains. I think I'm kind of proof of concept of this. So what supplements do I use? Well, I use a good citrulline-based product. And usually while I'm either waiting for that to kick in, I will do manual stretches during that waiting period. And then once I feel that like citrulline hit, then I'll go into the pump, because I do think that in order to get gains from pumping, you have to go in with a solid erection. At least as close to that as you can. And that's what a good citrulline-based product is going to do for you. I also take a half scoop before bed at night because, guys, it's not just about erection issues. It's about recovering that endothelial tissue. You are doing micro trauma to your PP when you are doing enlargement exercises. You want to minimize long-term damage, okay? It's not about maximizing erection quality as it is preserving your penile function. I made a whole video about citrulline and why you need to add this supplement, okay? Check it out and just learn the actual data behind it, okay? The other thing that I use is I use low doses of, I started out with Viagra. I was doing about 10 milligrams, maybe about 30 minutes before like my pumping routine. And now I just use Cialis, 2.5 milligrams, usually at night, like before, and that's not every day. It's usually about every other day or 3 days a week. Part of that, honestly, I don't feel like I need it, every day. I want to take the least amount necessary to be effective. And then combined with, it's like a very potent vasodilator and nitric oxide stimulator. And so I don't need much in my system to just like every other day, 2.5 milligrams combined with that, and I'm good. And it's rock steady when it comes to that time, if you know what I mean. And so what are some of like the ups? Like I can't it's almost like I want to cry. I mean, I can't cry, but like I can't put into words like how happy I am with the gains that I made. Like I just like I still can't believe it. Like I can't believe it. And there's times I look down and I'm like, whose D is this? Like what in the world? And I know that sounds stupid, and I know guys in general care way too much about their D's when they should be focused on like way other things. But this was life. That was my life, guys. Like I had severe penile dysmorphia disorder, and now I don't. And it's made such a dramatic impact. I can't put it into words. So obviously that's the biggest up. So what are some of the downs? I obsess about size now, not other people's size, but my own. And it's like, it's an erection quality. It's like, oh, I wasn't feeling as big as I normally was, or like, oh, I didn't get the same expansion after the pump. And like, it's like this stupid one. So I don't know how like big my hands look or not, but from like here to here is about 7.5 inches. And so like, I am constantly like just using my like hand as a rudimentary like gauge to see like, oh, I wonder how I'm hanging flaccid, or like, okay, I'm erect, like where am I at, like how far above my finger am I? I mean, so it's like it is obsession, like period, end of story. It is obsession about it, and I wish I didn't care so much, but whatever, I do. Then there's also like some days you feel like, I've certainly had the days where I'm like, this doesn't work. Like I'm not growing. Like I haven't grown anything. And this even happened recently. I mean, I wasn't doing any PE at all. And I was like, I had peaked out at like 8.2. Even my stretched flaccid was like peaked out at 8.2. And I was like, I guess this is just where I'm going to peak. And I just stopped measuring. Now that was back in like literally like October. And I just stopped measuring, been doing little bits here and there. And then like literally I saw BD's video where on the subreddit where he like measured his stretched flaccid, and it was like almost 9. I was like, let me check. And I'll be darned, like my stretch flaccid is like just shy of 9 inches too. And I was like, oh shiggity. And so then my 3-year anniversary came up, and I was like, time to measure anyways. And I was like, oh snap, like I'm up even more. So it's a very slow and prolonged process, guys. So just stick with it. And then one of the worst things is like I kind of I'm mean to like my old pee-pee. Like I'm just like it was never small, but it just feels small, especially comparison to now. And so like I look back at old videos and I'll just be like, like, oh, look at that little thing. And it's just like, it's so stupid. I know, but whatever. I'm crazy, guys. So anyways, what would I do differently? And so the big thing is that I don't know how I would do differently, but basically I focused all of my time and attention away from bodybuilding, away, well, not bodylift, just weightlifting and cardio. And I started doing PE for like an hour and a half a day, or an hour a day, whatever, instead of using that time to lift weights. And as a result, I was like a very lean, very, very lean, like close to 10% body fat. And I was at like 217. And so since then, I've lost like 10 pounds of muscle, but I gained like 30 pounds of fat. And so I went from being like a lean, just shy of 220, and then I became like a 20% body fat, between 236 as high as 240 if I measured at night, and I'd eaten a lot of salt that day. And so I traded like penile dysmorphia for actual like body dysmorphia, and then I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way like I lost my abs. But part of it is like, because I spent all that time, I did make most of my gains in my first year, like without a doubt. And so anyways, like I don't know that, I can't say I would do it differently, but I wish I would have been able to find a better balance of not letting myself get fat because I was spending all this time pulling on my D. And so in my case, I was already lean, and then I went the other way. And so I tell guys all the time, if you're obese, if you're overweight, and you're probably underestimating how obese you are, I'm just telling you that, whatever, downvote this video if you have to, but I'm telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You're probably fatter than you think. And I would spend time losing weight, just getting peeled, okay? Because, like I said, my body fat went up, my fat pad went up to almost like an inch. And so like my bone pressed was still good, but my non-bone pressed was not that good. And now like my non-bone pressed is still very, very large because my fat pad is only about a quarter of an inch. So it's pretty awesome. I wish I would have started sooner. I know it's stupid, but you can't go back in time. But I wish I would have been doing this sooner when I had more privacy and I didn't live with my significant other. And I wish I wouldn't have listened to people when they told me to clamp. I had what worked for me. I knew it was working for me. I was making gains, but then I got caught up in people that, were trying to help, trying to, want the best for me. But instead of doing what I knew was working, I started listening to other people. So anyways. So what about my injuries? Well, lymphangiosclerosis, we talked about that. Soft gland syndrome, if you haven't seen my post on that, I haven't made a video on that yet. It's basically when you get a pelvic floor disorder and your bulbospongiosis muscle wraps around the base of your penis and doesn't allow blood flow distally. And so your actual like head of your penis doesn't inflate during an erection. And usually like the underside, the corpus spongiosum of your penis does not inflate either. Where meanwhile the corpus cavernosa inflate just fine, okay? And then lymphangiosclerosis, if I didn't just say that, heart flaccid. So those are all my injuries. I've all recovered from them 100%. So did it cure my dysmorphia? Like, yes, it did. I know a lot of people on the subreddit are like, guys, just remember, like, you're never going to be happy. Like, bullshit. Like, I'm very happy with my size. If I never made another gain from this point forward, I would be absolutely freaking thrilled. However, my mindset going into this was like, if I could get a quarter of an inch, I would be thrilled. Like, over the moon thrilled. And so there's some guys that are like, if I don't get 2 inches, then I'm going to be very upset. If that's you, then, know yourself. But like, I've unbelievably exceeded my expectations. Like I unequivocally, I feel heavy. I would say huge. I can't believe I'm actually on camera, on record saying that. I have a huge penis and it feels good to say that, like the end, okay? And so like my dysmorphia was really, really bad. It was really bad to the point where like I didn't want to go to the locker rooms. Like I would avoid urinals. So I didn't have to worry about somebody looking at me because I'm 6'5". I had a like above average, but on my frame, it just didn't look that big. Now I don't worry about that. I don't worry about like the only like ping of insecurity comes up when, now you have to keep in mind, guys, like realistically, I'm bigger than most like porn stars now. And I know it sounds crazy to say, and you guys can sound off in the comments, like whatever, but like, I mean, I am. And so anyways, but if you are like below average and you get up to average, you still might be insecure because you know that now you're just average and there's people bigger than you. So you have to have that context for yourself. Like I said, I'm not trying to brag or flex or whatever, guys. I'm just saying, like, I went from already being objectively big to like even way bigger. And so, yes, that's cured a lot of the stuff for me, okay? I mean, I just can't imagine being as big as I am and being like, I'm still insecure about my size. Like, I mean, now I'm throwing shade, but there was a guy on the subreddit that was like, I'm 9 inches, but I don't feel that big. And I was like, how do you, like, what? Turns out he had a 3-inch fat pad because he's obese and needs to lose weight. Just objectively saying it, guys. Like, whatever, dude. Downvote this video. But anyways, so yes, it has cured my dysmorphia. And that was now, and I guess now I'm flexing now, guys. But like, you know, some of you believe I'm a doctor, some of you don't. But like, I'm a doctor. Like, I'm like very well established. I'm on executive boards. Like, my career is great. Like, I have an amazing woman at home that loves me. I have a great family. Like, I mean, obviously I can't help that I'm tall, but like I'm tall, I'm because I'm back in shape. And so it's like the only insecurity I really had was my pee-pee. And I think that's why it like bothered me so much. And you probably are wondering like, why does he keep saying pee-pee? I don't want to get this video demonetized, which probably will be anyways, but anyways. And so hoping to outsmart like the AI that's reviewing these videos. But so yes, guys, that was my only bit of dysmorphia that was left, and now it's gone. So I feel great. So in general, 3 years, guys, 1.5 inches, almost an inch in girth, and it's amazing. Like, it's just amazing. I'm very happy right now, and yeah, I feel like it's one of those, like, I got nothing left to prove. Like, I can retire. What's next for me? I'm not gonna retire. I mean, I truly love doing it. I would love to, I'd love to hit the next inch up. Like, I'd love to crack that 9. That would be awesome. I don't know that I'm going to do it because I don't feel like I need to exert that much time or energy into this now because I'm enjoying life. I've got the size I wanted. I got the size I'm happy with. The girl is very happy with my size. It's almost too much for her sometimes. And there's so much more to life. And now that I've got this like dysmorphia behind me, I can move on. So anyways, guys, giveaway information. So very simple, guys. All you have to do, subscribe to my channel. So if you haven't subscribed, just subscribe now, guys, because I will check. Like this video, and in the comments tell me what you want. Thanks for watching, guys. I wish you all the best luck on your journey, and until the next one, peace and love.